What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Red, and I did not think that I was going to do a video about Final Fantasy VII's remake, or the demo that has just come out recently, because to be honest with you, I had no real intentions of playing it. I wanted to go into the game fresh, and I knew from what I had seen of the game and the gameplay that was available, I was getting into something that I knew I was going to enjoy. So when the demo was announced, I was like, no, I'm just going to hold off and I'm not going to play. But then the positive reviews started coming in and everyone started talking about it, and it just got like, everyone's blown it up to epic proportions, and justly so. So I did what I didn't want to do. I downloaded it, I played it, and I've played it probably about 3 or 4 times now, and oh my god, is it amazing. But we will get into that. There is one thing, however, that I feel the game, or actually no, there's 2 things that the game sorely lacks, and I'll get into that at the end of this video, so stay tuned. I think you'll find that it's nothing that's or disagreeable. With that, if you want to stay up to date on everything relating to the gaming industry, including reviews, discussions, and news, then you're in the right place, and you should consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like so you can stay up to date. Don't forget to hit that bell. Okay, and with that, let's get on to today's story. So, I'm not going to say anything that hasn't been said already. Final Fantasy VII, the demo, the remake demo, is absolutely amazing. From the moment you step off the train, you immediately feel like, if you've played the original, that you are very familiar with this place, but at the same time too, it is new to you. It immediately shows that the fleshing out of the game is in full effect, and not only through its combat system, but through the way it looks, the way it feels like a game that just draws inspiration from the Final Fantasy VII game, rather than being a direct remake. Of course, it's set in the same timeline, it's the same story, but with all these little added extras, even for a long-time fan of Final Fantasy VII like myself, and I have completed the game quite a few times in my lifetime, but to play this actually feels like I'm playing a new game. It's not really anything too shockingly different, but at the same time too, there's a lot there that makes me sit there and go, I never thought I would see this. So let's start first of all with the combat. The combat is amazing. I really enjoy how it plays like Final Fantasy 15. It's got a nice little bit of like active time battles sort of thing. It feels a little bit like Kingdom Hearts 3 in terms of the combat. That was quite nice. I love it how it also draws inspiration from the original game with the active time battle system, being able to put your commands in once you fill up your gauge or your bar. Very, very nice. Creates a nice little level of strategy and allows me to pick and choose when it's appropriate to use my fire spell, throw a potion up. A lot of people have agreed that it is a nice little touch to be able to feel like you can't just go into everything straight away. You gotta earn that little bit of finesse, I suppose, with your spells and all that. And finally, one thing I actually quite like is, despite the fact that I did not like Final Fantasy 13 too much and its games afterwards, the stagger bar is a nice little addition, because it does open up ways to kill enemies and beat bosses a lot faster. I actually really enjoy this little addition, and I think it pretty much goes to say that a lot of people do as well. So it's really nice to see the mixing of, let's say, 3 different types of Final Fantasy games in Final Fantasy VII itself, Final Fantasy 13, and Final Fantasy 15. It's a nice blend that just sort of scratches the itch for everybody. And for those of you who want more of the traditional experience, you can get that with, I think it's just called Classic Mode. I've never tried it yet. I am planning to maybe sit down tonight and give it a go, where auto attacking is enabled and you just input your commands when the bar fills. So you get basically the old experience just without standing static. So that's another great little feature as well. So they're sort of trying to cater to both worlds. I really, really like that about the game, and I think it's fantastic. And with that, let's move on to the sound. The sound in the game, including the voice acting, the soundtrack, the sound effects, are all top notch. I was watching a video by Jim Sterling in regards to the soundtrack when it's played over the voices, and I do sort of agree that they sort of take a back seat to what else is happening. It's not that bad, but at the same time too, I really like the soundtrack of the original Final Fantasy VII, and it would have been nice to hear it a little bit more, like have it be a little bit louder in that background. But at the same time too, there's so much happening that's on screen, there's so many sound effects, there's the chit-chat between Barrett and Cloud, that despite all that happening, you can still hear it. And when it's playing, especially on the boss fight, is awesome. So the soundtrack, I personally feel, does a really good job of recreating what was that original sound, and it should be credited to the developers and the composers to have created it so perfectly that it feels old and new at the same time. So thumbs up there, well done everybody. Thank you so much for doing such a great job on it. And finally, we're going to talk about graphics. We're going to talk about graphics, and this will be my last pro, and then we're going to get into my 2 cons. So remember, if you want to hear about those 2 cons, stick around and subscribe to the channel if you like what you hear, and give this video a like. So my last pro, graphics. I mean, you're seeing it now. Do you really need anything? Does anything need to be said? Alright, well, let's dive into it. The graphics are absolutely amazing. They'll blow your mind. And it is so good to see what Midgar looks like in 2020 vision. Like, we always had the, like, we had to imagine what it was like and what it looked like, and we sort of put it in our minds and flesh it out. But here, it is real, it is showing everything that we want to see, and even though the game is only based in Midgar, that to me is really exciting, because it's going to flesh out the city so much that we're actually going to have a realistic impression as to what it is. And it's not even an impression anymore at that point. It's, we know what type of place Midgar is, as if we're actually running around there, because it's so detailed from what we can see. It's going to be an absolutely awesome feat to be able to run around this place, and I think the developers know that as well, that they really need to flesh it out and make it feel like you're inhabiting a city, instead of just coming to it to sort of, you know, stock up on potions and all that sort of stuff. So when this game comes out, I think we're in for a very big treat. The graphics are awesome. The effects from swinging your sword around and seeing the blade like hit metal and casting spells is fantastic. Everything is spot on. It's flashy, it's glary. I've never sat, or I cannot remember the last time that I sat in front of my TV on my couch in my living room with my elbows on my knees, leaning forward, looking at my 60-inch 4K TV and just being struck in awe over something that was just so, it was so nice to look at. And credit where it's due, they have done an amazing job with this. So that's three positives that just bring all this game to, like, all of this game together into one package that I really feel is going to like just hold this game down for Game of the Year, or one of the games that could potentially be Game of the Year. So with that, let's get into my 2 cons. The first one, which I think a lot of people would understand, is the fact that this game is episodic. And it's not a big one, because like the way I'm going to word it is just like this. For those of us who are going to play this game, we're going to love it. I know I am going to love it. I am so excited to play this game. But the problem is, once I finish it, I'm going to want to keep going. Or once I get to the end of Midgar, I'm going to want to keep going. And the question is, how long do we have to wait? That's a con. Like, I don't want to know how long I have to wait. I want a definitive answer so that I can at least either like play it once and put it down and then come back to it and replay this one when the second part comes out, or can I play it and know that for a couple of years I'm going to be stuck with nothing? So to me, that's a bit of a con, because at the same time, everyone knows, who's played this story knows that the game is a lot larger than Midgar. And for those of you who have not played Final Fantasy's classic or the original version, once they get to the end at Midgar, they know that there's more to the game, and they then have to come back to it, especially if it's a few years away. So that's a little bit of a downside. But it's not going to stop me from playing the game, and I think it's not going to stop a lot of people as well. But it's something that I wish we knew a little bit more about, like when to expect each subsequent part. Now, the parts are one of 3. So it would be nice to know when we could expect part 2 and when we could expect part 3. But I digress. And the final one is, after playing it 4 times now, with more playthroughs on the way, of course, I just couldn't help, despite how good everything looks, how good it sounds, how good it runs, everything, I just could not help myself but think, what would this game look like on the PS5? Because we're so close to that, like to the PlayStation 5's release, that it makes me wonder if they've just pushed this forward to get it out. I think I would rather have waited to see this game come out as a launch title for PS5. But at the same time, I also believe that they will do what they do, or what they plan to do on Xbox with Cyberpunk, and upgrade the game to PS5 hardware. If that's the case, and they do that through a patch where the game can recognize that it's on a PS5 system, and it updates a patch which just upgrades the textures even more, despite the fact that it looks absolutely amazing as it is, could you imagine what it could look like? And it already looks amazing. I mean, if they do that and they allow you to upgrade the graphics, the PlayStation 5 for me would be an automatic pickup on release. I'm just saying. It's not a con for the game, but the PS4, I think now, despite how good this game looks, I think the hardware might be holding it back a little bit. Just a little bit. But that's just me. I hope, for one, that they actually do that free patch and allow people to be able to get an updated patch for the PS5, because it would look awesome. It would be mind-blowing. But those are my thoughts. So with that, if you have not played the demo yet and you're still sitting on the fence as to whether or not this game is worth your time, you need to stop what you're doing now, turn on your PlayStation and download this demo. It goes for about an hour. If you think that you're not going to like it, well, you only have to play it for an hour. But I can guarantee you that is not going to be the case, because this game is absolutely amazing. And dare I say this, that I feel, honestly, once everything has come out for this game, parts 1, 2, and 3, it will be a heated debate as to which one is better, the classic or the 3 remakes put together. That's just me. With that, my name's Red. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date of all of my videos. If you're looking for gaming news, industry reviews, you have come to the right place. So again, stay tuned. With that, you have an awesome day. Go and play the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo now. Don't waste any more time. I'm out.